This is Randy Haig, and this morning I'm here with Dennis Sheehy, a good friend of mine who I've known for, almost 10 years now. Dennis is a golf instructor that I have personally a lot of respect for. I think his teaching methodology has worked extremely well for a lot of my personal friends and people that I know. Dennis, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about your background. I know that you started in the golf business at a very early age and have worked with Ledbetter and some of the greatest teachers in the world. And I think it'd be great for people to really understand a little bit more about you and certainly get to see you and meet you in person. I'd love for you to talk about, kind of your thoughts about, teaching as it relates to amateur golfers that are looking to improve their game.
Okay, well, I was born in Ireland. I started golf when I was around about 2 or 3. Played at a pretty nice amateur level. I played in South Africa when I was 16 years old. Played good in the South African amateur and met some top South African pros down there. And they were all going to see this guy called David Ledbetter. Never had a lesson, so got on a plane, landed in America with about $30, and I went to work for David. I was earning about $100 a week, working 7 days a week, and that was at Greenleaf in Florida. And then that operation expanded. The real catalyst to it growing was Nick Faldo winning the British Open in '87 at Muirfield. And from there it got bigger and bigger, and now I think it's a spectacular operation. He's got probably 21 academies or 20 academies around the world, David, now. But I left him and went self-employed in '98. I was his director of instruction for Europe at that point. Went self-employed, and all my players in Europe, it was predominantly tour players I was working with. All those guys were planning on playing on the PGA Tour over here, so 2000 I decided to move because they were all moving, and ended up here in San Diego.
Right.
And more recently, the last 4 years, because of some personal circumstances, I have worked less on the tour, less travelling, been around my kids a lot more, and worked more with all levels of amateurs really.
Right. From
the top amateur golfers, which is really fun, and then down to the higher handicap corporate guys.
Right. What I've really enjoyed watching and observing from my end is how you do work with your students, if I may call them students, is really taking a whole approach to the game, which is the mental side, the physical side, the swing, and how you work with somebody and the approach to the game to really help them, be a better player. Right. Maybe you could just talk about a little bit about kind of the philosophy with the type of teaching that you do, so people can get a sense for that.
Right. Well, there's so many facets around it to people's games, and I really think there's no method to fixing, multiple players. I think they've all got their own, I call it golf DNA, where they've got their own, from probably whenever they started, they've got their own tendencies, whether they, aim right, take it inside and hook it. That's kind of what they've got, that's their stuff, all levels, from Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ray Floyd, they all had their own idiosyncrasies, and they're going to fight them all their career. So that's the first thing as far as the mechanics go. Second thing, a big part of it is course management. Third thing, the mental side of it I think is really under-taught and under-established at the amateur level.
Yes.
I don't think people realize how hard the top players in the world make good choices mentally on the golf course.
Yes.
As far as one of my old buddies, Sevi, used to say to me, my most important club is my composure.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Being composed, being relaxed, being non-judgmental on the golf course. And these are things I really believe at any level you can choose, because they are choices. And people don't talk about them, I think, enough. And I really try and stay away from hitting a 7-iron on a driving range for 3 hours, trying to make some swing on a video look like X or Y. You've got to do that work. I do it a little bit differently, less range work, more course playing time.
Right.
But then when you're out there understanding the mental composure required to play at a better level.
Right. Well, I've seen you take some guys that were at a level that they never could seem to get above, and you've seemed to have taken them all above that level, and it's been very impressive to not only have the privilege of knowing you as a friend, but also to see the great work that you've done. If anybody has any questions, you know, for or about Dennis, I'm happy to pass those on to Dennis, and certainly reply to the blog. And Dennis, great having you.
Thanks, Ren.
Appreciate it. Thank
Enjoyed
you.
it.